evening, everybody. Happy Monday. Savante here on the 12th of January, our second show of the year. Ooh, it's yummy. We were just calling in the light off camera, getting ready for this evening, and I'm so glad that you're here. And put your name in the comments so I can see you. We are going to have the opportunity as we move forward in the show tonight to answer your questions and be present when Caroline comes on the show. Thank you for all who tuned in last week with Lana Louise. That was an amazing show. And then we followed up on Wednesday with the gallery that she did that was just epic. Completely blew my mind, and I believe everyone who was there. So good. We're going to be doing another one in February, so stay tuned for that. If you missed it, you're going to want to jump on. Hey, Denise, you're going to want to jump on this next round of this gallery, and we'll be announcing it soon. And Lana is here. We're talking about you. Oh, Lana, hello. Anyways, I am not going to spend too much time talking because I have so much I want to ask and spend time with my dear friend Caroline. Before she comes on, I just have to gush about her. We have now been in 3 or 4 books together, maybe even more. And I met her through the amazing Angela Aurora Medway Smith. And you were about to meet her. She's incredibly special. She's tapped in ways that many of us really would like to learn how to get there. And she's just a gift of human spirit and amazing enlightened soul here to bring wisdom to us. So Ascension, alchemist, healer, author, Caroline Mary is here from the UK at midnight, no less. Come on to the show, my love. Woo!
Hi.
I could have gone on and on, but I think that's a good one. They can learn the rest from you.
That's enough. Yeah. Oh, thanks for having me, Savante. It's amazing to be here with you today.
And thank you. I know it's late, and we were just saying, well, I don't know how many of my audience are going to be here, but they'll catch the replay, yeah?
Yeah, they will indeed. Exactly that.
So it's funny when we were talking about having you on the show tonight, and 1,000 different topics we could have talked about, but I thought light language would be the best one. I mean, we could have talked, and we could talk for hours about the different things, but for those of you who are saying, God, her name sounds familiar, yes, she was in High Vibrational Wellness. Let's see, you were chapter 13, the gift of light language, using your voice to heal your life. So I thought that we would talk about that tonight as a topic, because so many people I myself, and I'm blown away by light language. And I thought for a minute, I was convinced that it was for the younger generation coming in. And you're saying it's not, which is great, because then I started to study light language with somebody who's probably in my age, maybe even a little bit older. And I'm like, okay, so it's not that. But if you are here and you speak light language, let me know, put it in the comments. And then Caroline, just give people, can we just jump into that topic right away? Because when I first met you, and I had one other person who recorded in my husband's studio. She came in doing light language, and she was the first person I really saw. This was a long time ago. And then I got on a call with you when we were all getting together to talk about whatever, Angela's book, my book, one of the books. And the way it flows so effortlessly through you, I was like, is she speaking Hebrew? Because I speak Hebrew and it almost sounded like that. I'm like, nope, I don't know that dialect. And then I was like, I need to get to know her better. So why don't we just, in your point of view, talk about the topic of light language. What is it? And you will see that you do it so effortlessly. And I can't be the only one who's got a million questions about it. So I'm giving you the floor, girl. Hit it.
Okay. So before we came on, I was tuning in. I was like, what is the precise description? And actually, it's no different from our earth languages. So many of the languages that come through can be ancient earth languages, but I would say it's the soul language. And if you think of any language, it's energy, it's a transmission of information. The difference is less people understand these particular languages. So we call them light languages because many times they are coming from our soul and coming from a place beyond the human memory field. So it's coming from, in a sense, I want to say the Akashic field, the Akashic memory.
Okay.
And some years ago, when I was asking Spirit, like, what is this? Like, I just feel so happy when I speak it. I'm like, it just makes me buzz. What do I need to know? And what they showed me is it's an amplification of what is already coming through us. So you as Savante, me as Caroline, we already have a frequency and a conglomeration, in a sense, of all of us in our soul, in our field of awareness and being. We have all that we've ever been, but we just don't access it because we're taught we're human, blah, blah. But when we start accessing soul, we start accessing all the rest. So I've always had past life feeling memories, flashing knowings. And this is me accessing the languages from those which are relevant at any given time, is what I feel.
So I asked, that's beautiful. I asked AI tonight, what is light language? Because I'm just curious, and we can all have our different perspectives on AI. Is it infinite intelligence? Is it artificial? Is it a divine, collective frequency? But this is the description, and tell me how you feel about it. The AI said light languages. I'm reading it. Light language is a spiritual vibrational form of communication using sounds, symbols, or gestures believed to bypass the rational mind to transmit healing or divine energy. And it's often described as the soul's language or a way to connect with higher consciousness, the universe, or other realms. Distinct from human language, but experienced as pure energy frequency, like glowing glyphs. Practitioners channel these frequencies through spoken tones, songs, sacred geometry, or hand movements, aiming for spiritual activation or healing.
Yeah, I would say that and all. And I almost feel like I need to stress it's not different or better than human language. So if you're speaking to somebody who's so full of love, you can feel it. You know what they say, they will have the words of love. You can feel it. And if you're like, I have massive, like my inner world is very, very illustrated, shall we say. So if I'm talking to my mom and she's telling me some story, I can see everything. And sometimes it's like, shut up. I see what she's seeing through her language. Now, is that because I see it telepathically, or is it because I'm interpreting what her language is? Is it separate? I don't think so. I'm just getting its codes. So like all language, all sound is packets of codes of information, of energy. On energy, there's always information. It's just that those of us that happen to speak it, maybe like my precursor to that is I've been an ecstatic dancer for most of my adult life. I've been a musician since I was 7. I was forced into ad-libbing on the saxophone. So I already had to shift from this is what we do to this is how we free flow. So I happen to free flow with noise and therefore dancing, and then the next thing is language, which helped me drop away from this is how we're meant to talk, if that makes sense. So I had a predisposition to freedom, to being a channel, a bit of a wider channel.
Do you realize in all the years I've known you, that time frame just now was the longest I've ever heard you speak without speaking light language in between?
I'm telling you what, it's really difficult though.
You don't have to let loose, girl. This is the time.
Because Savante, with certain people, it just wants to come through. And this is where I mean, it's already here. The codes are already streaming through us. Who you are, who you anchor, what you're anchoring, you're already anchoring. Think of your book, Angelic Resonance. You're anchoring angelic frequencies all the time and I'm getting shivers all the way through me. So if I let go my human fear of being seen as crazy, I got locked up, guys, right? Yeah, in my 20s. So a lot of me is, oh, I gotta still pretend to be normal. If I actually just let go, I am a really different being. But it doesn't always want to come through. So there's a soul knowing of when it is right for it to come through, if that makes sense.
When it does to me. Does it to the audience? I'm curious to know who's listening to this. When someone is hearing you channel this light language, is there someone who's like understanding that on another level? Are they understanding it, or it's just coming through? Question one. And then the second question, when it's coming through, do you know what it's meaning?
It's what I want to say is, because we made a prayer, right, to be of service today. So my sense is there's a lot of messages and energies that want to come through for anyone that's going to listen. Okay, so this happens if I'm doing videos and stuff like this. So what happens for me, I can feel there's like an urgency. It's like, oh, there's energy that wants to come through.
Yeah, I know how that is
Sometimes
when you're
it's,
channeling. Yeah, so same
yeah,
thing.
exactly that, right? And it's the same when I feel like I need to write. I'm like, oh, it's coming, get all the ideas out, let it go, let it go. And years ago, like pre-section, I used to scribble notes and think, God, people, if they saw me, they would think I'm like, a bit cray cray, because it's that kind of mad professor energy of like notes everywhere and energies. And I've obviously learned to write it in a book now and actually hone it out. But it's the same with this. So a lot of people respond like, oh, thank you, and they just love it. It makes them happy. Other people, it's like, oh, me too, I speak it too, I just didn't know what it was. That's the story in the book, right? The lady that was like, oh my God, you literally, every time I see her, she tells the whole room, like, this woman changed my life because I had given her permission to be more of herself.
We're so selfish, shameless plug for this book, but there are some amazing stories in here, including yours, because you are providing a tool. So, question: where were you? How old were you? Was there something that brought it on? Like I always ask people, when did you have your first spiritual awakening? When did you realize there's something in the unseen? Was there something that activated it? Was there something that happened? That suddenly you're like, what the F is this? And then all of a sudden it's pouring out of you.
Sure. And that story is in, I think I wrote about it in this one, but also in EHO 1 in the Energy Healers Oracle. So my first spiritual experience was as a kid. I had like literally like a moment of like God moment, like the whole world just stopped, the noise dropped away, and it was like, wow, okay. And I had this like download of like, I'm here to be to live on purpose, be of service. Didn't have a clue what it was for years, and kind of started taking drugs and then got sectioned because I had my culinary awakening. But cut to 2015, I had been to see a clairvoyant, and she said, no, you need to see a shaman, and you need to do something to do with dance. And I was like, okay. And I found myself on an ecstatic awakening dance course with an incredible lady called Rebecca Hanscom. And on that course I met a lady called Leanne, who we literally were just like, bing, when you're just like, oh my God, we were like twinnies. We pushed in. It was
Lana.
She just literally was just like, oh my God. And she talked about ETs, and she was the most spiritual woo-woo person I'd ever met in real life. I'd been looking on Facebook and I'd met a few like really interesting people, but she was like all the way. And she was like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. And she'd speak in her own like light language. So I just was like, and I was full on. I just felt really, I kind of met a shaman. I just shaved my head and was like, oh my God, all that stuff that happened to me in the hospital, I'm like a shaman. Fuck, I was channeling. So all that happened. Had an invite to a shamanic ceremony in Wales, and I was like, yeah, okay, see what this is about. I don't know what's going to happen. Didn't know it was an ayahuasca ceremony. I thought, okay, they might think, well, you've got a history, we might not let you have it. So I just went, okay, see what happens. And I was going around massaging some of the people. They'd all come from London. I was like, they're all really like this. I'm like, dude, you're really stressed. So I went around just chatting with them, chilling them out. And the shamans had been watching me. I had no idea. And the younger shaman, who's still about 60, the learning one, was like, will you come and do some work on Don Juan, whoever his name was? I can't remember. I was like, yeah, okay. And literally the minute I put my hands on him, I was like, I was just straight into this kind of soul healing, and that will be coming out later this year. It's Shaman's Hands. A few weeks later, I was with Leanne, and I woke up in the middle of the night, had this vision that I was surrounded by these tribal beings, and I was just crying like, because I as a kid was like,
I'm picturing someone just coming on now and watching you. They're like, who's she interviewing?
Who is this? So basically, as a kid, like, I did not feel like I wanted to be here. I didn't like being white. I didn't like being British. I didn't feel particularly, I was going to say human. I didn't feel particularly female. I am female, but I'm 6'1" now, and I felt very gender fluid. So, and basically, yeah, I had this download of, you've got to do shamanic massage. I was like, okay, but it's what I did, right?
Level when that came in.
Yeah, and this is the course. I've been writing the course on and off for years, but it's nothing complex, but it's what I do as a soul. If I have no holds barred, this is what I would do to you. And that's what happened with the guy that asked me to work on him. And since then, it's just like the door just went opened.
The faucets turned on. For those of you who are here, if you have any questions about light language, please, this is the time to ask. Put it in the comments. Ask Caroline. She would be happy to answer. I find it fascinating. So I told you I saw someone online, and he had these light language recordings. Sure. And I was listening to them, and I was really getting into, and he had it for different things. I was particularly interested in, he had some light language for the DNA coding. So everything about DNA, as soon as you say that, I'm, like, must explore, deep dive into DNA. Yeah. So, because I'm thinking, wow, I'd love to explore, like, where he's at with the 12 strands and the double helix. Anyways, I found that felt like I was pushing myself to channel. And I just, and I speak Hebrew. I do speak about 6 languages. And
amazing.
Trying languages of this planet, and I'm sure I speak that, but I really want to experience that deeper understanding of it for myself. That's, of course, that's why I picked the language of this topic. But don't be shy, people who are here, if you have questions, because I feel for me that it's just on the tip. And can you teach someone a technique? Like, we go to learn Reiki, we go to learn different things. It isn't like I'm going to light language school. It's more already in there. Is it like a Kundalini awakening?
I would say it's like Kundalini awakening. Like, some people are like, life is a Kundalini awakening. To be, the merging of soul and body is that awakening of all to coming online fully as an enlightened being or soul self, whatever. So it's not it's going to be different for everyone. And what I wanted to say is, there are a few techniques that are just coming in now. One thing that I sometimes do is listen to music. I don't often, because I'm chatting or whatever, but or singing a song that is a song that you love, but you can be humming to, and then switching into making noises to, and then suddenly you might be actually speaking light language. You can't make it up, and I would say you probably could, but it's a bit like us sitting down and trying to learn Italian, when you actually already did speak Italian. So, like, potentially you could learn it, but actually maybe there's going to be a school where you can actually learn it, but it is, most of the people that speak it, really, it comes from your soul. So you could, if you're very open, I want to say, you could be channeling anything. I do really want to make this clear, because I did a channel, I did a 12 days for Christmas on my YouTube channel, and one of them was light language. I wasn't going to do it, and it came through. I was okay, I'll do it. And I gave two activations. One was so that you can be in alignment to speak it, and it was a very different energy that was coming through than the one that I would normally talk as my like go-to language. If I give a reading, I will jump in. I've had fairies, dragons, masters, like serious masters, all sorts of frequencies come in, and they sound different. And you've, like any channeling, we have to be attuned to it. So if you're attuned to the angels, it's a very different frequency than if a dragon comes through, you know what I mean? So a lot of it is about our predisposition, our own belief, our human filters to what we can comprehend that we can channel. And the activation I can energetically activate people, and I have done it. And you can go to the link in the chat. That's the light language activation. That's the gift from the book. Listen to that. Will help you.
I will put it in there, or I'll add it there, because I don't see it now, but
sure.
I will.
Okay. But what is so? But like, yeah, you're not going to learn it. You're going to basically, you're switching off the part of you that's like, I can't to, yeah, I can.
So here, Denise says she's here, and she's also an author in the book. She wrote the chapter on ancestral wounds and how to heal through that. So she is asking how to draw out, but I think you kind of did just say that. And I love what you said about starting with a hum, and that's really helpful. Plus that frequency of healing just by humming. I've interviewed Jonathan Goldman on my show before. He is like the master sound healer, Grammy Award winning. You know, he did the I don't know if you've ever seen on YouTube, it's called the Ultimate Om, and it's like 1 million people chanting Om. And so I use that a lot when I'm doing healing work on people. But he wrote a book on humming and how amazing humming is frequency wise. So I'm imagining, if the frequency is so high with humming, imagining bringing in the light language, how much that frequency is running through the body. And I can only imagine, because how often that you're conveying light language, how much that energy is running through your body. That's a lot. Do you have to ground after being so much in that space? Because I know when I channel for clients after 3, I need to take a minute here.
Yeah, I guess so. But it feels so like a relief that it feels like I don't really want to. It feels more, to me, it feels grounding, because I'm actually being like you're giving me permission to do what oftentimes some part of me is going, don't do this, because like it's not cool if I go into a shop or speak to my mom. You know what I mean? There are certain places like I drop in frequency because I'm matching who I'm connecting with. And I almost sometimes forget I talk it, because I've literally dropped. And as soon as I'm in a place like a healing fair, talking to somebody like you, group of healers, whatever, it will just come through. And it's almost the bandwidth of the person I'm with helps me, because obviously we're all kind of mirroring on one level. Otherwise it's really like a frequency match. I do want to come back.
Creating a vortex here.
Exactly that. What I want to say about how drawing it out is, one of the things I do in workshops is get people to just be silly. Because if you like for example, one thing is sing your name, just be really silly, because rather than like, I'm Caroline, this is how we're meant to do, this is how we learn because I had a job, it's like, can you just be stupid and silly? And when I'm chill, yeah, I can be really dumb and silly, make animal noises, and get yourself out of this is how I'm meant to sound compared to this is how I can. It's like playing with the voice. And that's how a lot of people, they're like, oh my God, I'm doing it, because it's not about trying. It's not about thinking. It's not about, I need to better, blah, blah, blah. None of that. So if you're listening and you want to, put on something that if you don't want anyone around to hear you, like put on some high vibe music and just play with noise. For example, if I called in the activation that I did on the YouTube video, it was very amua ye da o kohana ye de alahama kuku oe na haya mu kohena la ehea. And as far as I'm I almost want to say the higher the frequency, the cleaner it is. It's like a very pure sound. It's not complex. It's just like laser clarity. And then we come down, and that's when I feel very fast speaking it, because there's a lot of energies. It's like for every person that, say there's 10 people on the call, and I've got all their guides that are wanting to say something in all different galactic energies. See, I'm a whole, and if I'm like, yeah, okay, get out.
Holy shit! I have not seen you do that before.
That's very
Please tell me you're offering a prayer to everybody here.
anchoring. Yeah, no, it is. It's a very, it's a mukhe, it's a strong like alignment, and that's
I
where
felt that.
yeah, mukhe hai te lai shuden miki utukua na mahauku ekinama. And I do want to say this works on so many different levels because it's activating soul memories. So if you want to speak it, listen to light language a lot, normalize it.
Okay.
I already
Great.
was like,
That is great. I can relate to that, normalizing it, because I study languages. And honestly, as I became a functional genomics coach, I've studied the language of DNA encoding. So that is its own language too. I can look at A1592228 and I know exactly what it is. I don't have to think twice. I'm like, okay, I know exactly what that is. All right. So one of my last questions before we wrap up, and I know it goes fast, and I know hopefully it's not a silly question, but my favorite movie is Avatar. And when they speak in their Pandorian language, I'm like, I know they made that up, but at the same time, it sounds so enlightened. I'm like, did they consult a light language person for this?
I watched that and I cried my eyes out. I'm like a blue
Yes.
person in a fucking human suit here. Like
Yes.
I've always felt that, but that was like, oh.
The last one, when I'm listening to them and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
okay, who did they bring in to create this script and dialogue? Because to me, this is light language. It was so beautiful. The way it hit me, particularly the first one, and then of course all three. But I just wondered what your understanding of that and what they brought forth in that.
Think also of the Lord of the Rings and the Elven. So some people, in fact, this is in one of the books, I can't remember which, maybe it was in this one. When I was in Chartres and I was channeling, if I can ignore people and I'm in a very holy place, it's like a different energy again. And I was just singing and dabahai and doing whatever, and this woman just started crying, was like, oh my God, you're speaking Aramaic, you've just healed me, you don't know what you've done, la 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 la. So think of but other people have said, yeah, you're speaking Elven. And I'm like, how the hell do you even know what Elven sounds like? Or you're speaking Aramaic, or, you know what I mean? Because it piques people's soul memories. So for me, I would say,
are you Centurion? You know, like,
right,
someone said,
exactly.
wow, are you from Alpha Centauri? I'm like,
yeah.
I don't know, maybe I am.
So I would say it's the same. Like people who are writing these stories are picking up on other, even if they think they're not. Like, where does that creativity come from? Let's face it. If I like most of my book, my plug, most of that book came out over a month because I just knew I had to tell my story about spiritual awakening, and it just went a woof. And then I had to use my human brain to kind of put it together into a package as a book, but the knowledge of it just dropped down, and that's how people write these stories. They kind of, it kind of lands, and it's all coming from a higher thing, drip feeding, ready for the next level of our collective evolution. So, yeah.
Perfect. So for people who want to get in touch with you, should we direct them to your website? Where would you like them to find you? I know, of course,
Sure.
they can find you in many of our books, but you tell them how they can learn more about you.
Sure. Yeah, you can go to my website, openlotusliving.com. You can sign up to my newsletter. It goes out about once a month. And you can friend me or follow me on Facebook, Caroline Mary. And I do lives. And I also have a YouTube channel now as well, Ascension TV Online. So you can find me later. Svante will be a guest, I'm sure, in February or coming up soon. So
Yeah,
you can follow me, subscribe me on that, and find out more about my journey. And if you want to work with me, you can have a look at my offerings on the website, openlotusliving.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you. I know you brought forth so much energy at 12:30 at night, after midnight. Thank you. What do you do to kind of, come back down and, go into a sleep state? Do you have a practice that you could just...
Yeah. Do you know, I often do like a body scan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also I read
I
before
kind of felt
bed.
you did something because I was like, I was like, like you just kind of close it down, like step by step.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's like come back to human, because that energy, it feels like, oh, hello, which is why when I was sectioned and everyone was worried, I was like, oh, I'm accessing divine mind. This is amazing. And they're like, no, you're crazy. Stop it. So like you give me that permission. We expand. Like when we give ourselves permission to fully be, we expand into the greatest aspect of ourselves, and we're multi-dimensional beings. But yeah, to be human, I have to like shut down a little bit. It's like powering down a computer, isn't it?
Denise, thank you for this evening. Vibrationally pure wonder.
Oh, you are so welcome. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to speak with you all.
I love you, girl. I will. I wish everyone who is in London, when you wake up tomorrow, you can watch this replay, and everyone who is here and watches this whenever you do. Thank you for tuning in to the Nourish Your Soul Show. We have an amazing, believe it or not, think about it. I think we have Angela Aurora Medway Smith next Monday. So she'll be doing the midnight duty. So we have Angela on, and I forgot what we're going to talk about. It'll be something wonderful. Oh, I think we're going to be talking about this incredible Christ consciousness download she has for this course. Anyways, it's some amazing thing. So Angela Aurora Medway Smith will be on next Monday. Thank you, love. Everybody get some rest. Have a good rest of your evening. Thank you for being here. I'm very blessed that you said yes. You chose us tonight. All right, honey. Much love. Take care, everyone.
Much love. Bye.